Hello, students. We will start with the second chapter of Indian economic development, that is, Indian economy from period 1950 to 1990. Now, in the previous chapter, we saw how Indian economy suffered massive colonial exploitation during the British rule. We understood the various factors which led to the backward and stagnant state of Indian economy. In this chapter, our learning objectives will be as follows. We'll be understanding the meaning of economic system. We'll understand the difference between capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. We'll understand what is economic planning. And lastly, we'll understand some long-term objectives of planning in India. Now, economic system. After India gained independence in 1947, it basically had to rebuild its economy from the scratch. After Britishers left us, the job of nation building was now in our hands. The leaders of those times had to pick the type of economy India would be. What economic system would India follow? Now, what do we mean by the term economic system? In order to understand this, we have to get back to the class of 11th microeconomics, where the three central problems of an economy was introduced. That is, what to produce and how much, how to produce and for whom to produce. These problems arise because our resources are scarce in relation to its demand, and also resources could be put in alternative uses, which creates a problem of choice. So, economic system refers to a system. Economic system refers to a system which solves the central problems of what to produce and how much, how to produce and for whom to produce of an economy. कहने का मतलब कि ये एक ऐसा सिस्टम है जो सॉल्यूशंस देता है इन प्रॉब्लम्स की. सोल्यूशन कैसा होगा वो डिपेंड करेगा कि हम किस इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम में आते हैं. नाउ देयर आर बेसिकली थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम. वन is the capitalist economy. In capitalist economy, the private sector is at the front and we all know that they work for their own profits. सिर्फ अपने profits के लिए काम करते हैं and they are not concerned for the social welfare. उनको social welfare से कोई मतलब नहीं. Second is the socialism. So in a socialist economy, government is at the front. Here, the government works in accordance with the needs of the society as a whole. जहाँ capitalist economy में profit making major motive होता है, socialist economy में लोगों का welfare major motive होता है. And the third one is the mixed economy. Here both public and private sector work together to foster self-interest and social interest respectively. That is, market forces would ensure maximization of individual profits while the government would ensure maximization of social welfare. Alright? Now let's understand more about economic system with the help of a table. Now here, for clear understanding, I am differentiating the three economic system on the basis of certain criterias. The first is the nature. Nature. In capitalism, all major economic decisions are left to the free play of the market forces. बेसिकली मार्केट ही डिसाइड करेगी कि कितना प्रोडक्शन होना चाहिए, कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होना चाहिए एंड कैसे प्रोड्यूस होना चाहिए. इन सोशलिज्म ऑन द अदर हैंड the government decides all the major decisions, and in mixed economy both government and market collectively takes major economic decisions. The next one is motive. Now in a capitalist or a market economy, the ultimate motive is profit maximization. They are least concerned for the welfare of the society and their prime objective is to satisfy their own interest and profits. उनको कोई मतलब नहीं for the welfare of the people. उनको कोई मतलब नहीं कि लोगों का welfare हो रहा है कि नहीं. They are majorly concerned with their own profits. While in a socialist or a planned economy, their main concern is the welfare of its people, ignoring their own profits. And in mixed economy, the policy makers work for both profit maximization and social welfare. Now let's come to the third basis, which is competition. Since there are a lot of private players in the market and every player works for its own self interest, competition is bound to happen. कैपिटलिस्ट इकोनॉमी में कंपटीशन रहेगा, क्यों? क्योंकि बहुत सारे प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स हैं और सबको अपना अपना प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइज करना है. वाइल इन अ सोशलिस्ट इकोनॉमी ऐसा कुछ कंपटीशन एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करेगा, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट ओनली टेक्स द मेजर डिसीजन. In a mixed economy, here since both the government and private sector work together, competition exists only in the private sector. Now, the next criteria is the merits. Now, in a capitalist economy, the major merit is that it fosters self-interest and economic growth, and hence it accelerates the pace of economic growth. Obviously जब हर कोई अपना self, if they are majorly focusing on profit maximization, growth तो बढ़ेगा ही. In socialism, it ensures social justice. Since government works for promoting the collective interest, socialism ensures social equality and justice. Mixed economy में what are the merits? That it ensures consumer sovereignty. सोवरेनिटी का क्या मतलब होता है? इट मीन्स दैट यू आर फ्री फ्रॉम एनी एक्सटर्नल कंट्रोल, यू आर इंडिपेंडेंट. सो सोशलिज्म रिस्पेक्ट्स कंज्यूमर्स इंडिपेंडेंस, further enhancing consumers' choice and his wealth level. Alright, now the next basis is central problems. Now we all know that there are three major central problems, that is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Let's take up all these problems in each type of economic system. Let's first come to the capitalist economy. Now our first problem is what to produce. So in this economy, if cars are in demand, cars will be produced. And if bicycles are in demand, then bicycles will be produced. So whichever good is in high demand, the capitalist will produce only that good and would earn profits. Capitalist वही goods produce करेगा जो market में जिसकी high demand है, क्योंकि जो लोग डिमांड करेंगे और अगर कैपिटलिस्ट वही प्रोड्यूस करेगा तो उसकी ज़्यादा बिक्री होगी, and which is why they would earn profits. Our second problem is how to produce. So here capitalists will choose that method of production which is least expensive for him, that is which is cheap for him. For example, if he finds labor to be cheap as compared to machines, then he will produce goods using labor intensive techniques. Alright, तो वो बेसिकली अपनी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन बहुत मिनिमम रखना चाहता है, क्योंकि अगर उसकी कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन ज़्यादा हो जाएगी तो उसको प्रॉफिट्स नहीं मिलेंगे. तो जो भी चीपेस्ट उसको मिलेगा, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अगर उसको लेबर चीप मिल रही है तो वो मशीन्स को छोड़ के लेबर से अपने गुड्स बनाएगा सो दैट उसको प्रॉफिट्स हों. Our third problem is for whom to produce. Goods will be produced only for those who can afford to buy these goods. जिनके पास परचेजिंग पावर है या पैसे हैं, उन्हीं के लिए ये प्रोडक्ट्स प्रोड्यूस किए जाएंगे. Cause capitalists are only concerned for their own profits and not for social welfare. So this is how capitalist economy will solve these three central problems. Now let's see how socialist economy will solve these three problems. The socialist economy will produce those goods which society needs, जिसकी सोसाइटी को ज़रूरत है, irrespective of the fact कि उनके पास पैसे हैं कि नहीं. For example, a socialist nation provides free healthcare services to all its people. Alright? And in a mixed economy, the market will produce those goods and services it can produce well, and the government will produce essential goods and services which the market fails to do. So in this case, they would both complement each other. Now, you can see certain examples. For example, US and UK follows a capitalist economy. Alright, and then Cuba and China follows a socialist economy, and India follows a mixed economy where both public and private sector works together. Alright, now what is a plan? A plan is a process under which a central authority defines a set of targets to be achieved within a specified period of time, keeping in view the needs and means of the country. सपोज मेरा एक एम है, आई वॉन्ट टू बिकम एन IAS ऑफिसर. अब मुझे ये टारगेट अचीव करना है एक स्पेसिफाइड पीरियड में. सिमिलरली कंट्री के भी कुछ टारगेट्स हैं. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल उनकी गुड एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन होना चाहिए, साउंड इंडस्ट्रियल बेस होना चाहिए. तो इसके लिए कंट्री प्लान करती है कि इन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को कैसे एकम्प्लिश किया जाए यूजिंग लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज ऑप्टिमली. ऑलराइट, सो basically what is a plan? So a plan spells out how the resources of a nation should be put to use. It means utilization of country's resources in different development activities in accordance with the national priorities. अब जो प्लानिंग इन इंडिया थी वो शुरू हुई थी जब गवर्नमेंट ने प्लानिंग कमीशन को सेटअप किया था in 1950 with Prime Minister as its chairperson. Now this commission was responsible for framing and implementing 5-year plans of the country. हमारा फर्स्ट 5-year प्लान स्टार्ट हुआ था फ्रॉम 1951 to 56. 5-year प्लान क्यों बोला जाता है? क्योंकि 5 साल का एक प्लान था. तो पहला 5-year प्लान शुरू हुआ फ्रॉम 1951 to 1956. दैट इज़ अ पीरियड ऑफ 5 years. और ये जो पहला 5-year प्लान था इसका मेजर टारगेट क्या था? एग्रीकल्चर. सिमिलरली सेकेंड 5-year प्लान स्टार्ट हुआ फ्रॉम 1956 to 1961 जिसमें मेजर फोकस क्या था? इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ. सो हर एक प्लान का एक अपना अपना मोटिव था. ऑब्वियसली एक ही प्लान में हम इतने सारे टारगेट्स नहीं रख सकते, तो हमने क्या किया, 5-year प्लान्स को डिवाइड किया. टोटल 12 5-year प्लान्स हमारे थे. जैसे फर्स्ट 5-year प्लान में हमने एग्रीकल्चर में फोकस किया, सेकेंड 5-year प्लान में हमने इंडस्ट्री पे फोकस किया. ऐसे करते करते हमने कुल 12 5-year प्लान्स बनाए. जो लास्ट 5-year प्लान था it was from between 2012 to 2017 where the major focus was on faster, sustainable and more inclusive growth. Alright, so ये जो 2017 तक था, जो लास्ट हमारा 5-year प्लान था वो 2017 तक था. उसके बाद जो 5-year प्लान्स था वो कौन बनाता था? प्लानिंग कमीशन. नाउ प्लानिंग कमीशन हैज़ बीन रीप्लेस्ड बाय न्यू इंस्टीट्यूशन. अब प्लानिंग कमीशन को एबॉलिश कर दिया गया है और उसकी जगह एक नया इंस्टीट्यूशन आया है विच इज़ नीति आयोग. नीति का फुल फॉर्म इज़ नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन फॉर ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग इंडिया. Now comes the goals of planning in India. Now the 5-year plans in India have been pursued with a well-defined set of objectives. Now these are broadly classified as long period and short period objectives. Now long period objectives वो हैं which are common to all 5-year plans, whereas the short period objectives are प्लान स्पेसिफिक. फॉर एग्जाम्पल फर्स्ट 5-year प्लान का शॉर्ट टर्म ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या था? एग्रीकल्चर पे फोकस करना. सेकेंड 5-year प्लान का क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव था? इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर पे फोकस करना. तो ये जो छोटे छोटे टारगेट्स थे वो हो गए शॉर्ट टर्म ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. और लॉन्ग टर्म ऑब्जेक्टिव्स वो हैं विच वर कॉमन टू ऑल द 5-year प्लान्स. ऑलराइट, नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट वर द लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. Now there were 4 long period objectives. In order to memorize this, I formed one acronym which is GEMS. ठीक है, GEMS. So where G stands for growth, E stands for equity, M stands for modernization, and S stands for self-reliance. Now we'll understand this one by one. Now first let's understand growth. Now at the time of independence, our economy was in a very bad state. It was a backward and a stagnant economy. So this forced our policy makers to focus on economic growth as its primary objective. Now a good indicator of growth is GDP of a country. But what exactly do we mean by GDP? हम सुनते तो रहते हैं GDP, but इसका मतलब क्या है? Now suppose, let's understand this with the help of a very simple example. Suppose there is a country which only produces pens. ठीक है? Now suppose in the year 2019 it made 10 pens. 10 पेन प्रोड्यूस करता है. So in that year GDP would be 10 pence, and if each pen costs rupees 10, then total becomes rupees 100. 10 multiplied by 10. So in simple words, the market value of total production is called the GDP. Alright, now think of GDP as a birthday cake. Now, if your birthday cake is small, very less number of people will be able to enjoy it. On the other hand, if your birthday cake is a big one, a lot of people can enjoy it. So, in other words, if we produce more goods and services, people of our country will be able to enjoy a more rich and varied life. Now comes structural composition. ये होता क्या है? So structural composition of output refers to relative shares of primary, secondary and tertiary sectors in GDP. बेसिकली ये बताता है कि एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर ने कंट्री की जीडीपी में कितना कंट्रीब्यूट किया, इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर ने कंट्री की जीडीपी में कितना कंट्रीब्यूट किया और सर्विसेज सेक्टर ने कंट्री की जीडीपी में कितना कंट्रीब्यूट किया. सो बेसिकली contribution made by each of these sectors makes up the structural composition of the economy. Now, there are some countries where agriculture contributes more to GDP growth, while in some countries, service sector contributes more to the GDP growth. But generally, it has been seen that as the economy grows, or when it starts getting developed, the share of agriculture sector falls while that of service sector rises in contribution to GDP. All right. Now, let's come to the second objective, which is equity. Now, the development of the economy only is not sufficient. The plans must also focus on the development of our society. It is essential to ensure that these benefits from the economy are enjoyed by all the members of the society. Now, this is where the equity comes in. First, let's understand the basic difference between equality and equity with the help of an example. Now, let's look at this picture. There are three individuals with different heights and all want to see the match. Now, equality means when I give equal opportunities to all. As seen in the picture, all boys have been given a stand box of equal size. Though the first two boys can easily see the match due to their height, but the one whose height is less, he can't see the match. Alright, so even if I am providing equal opportunities to all, I am unable to make all happy. Now let's come to the second picture. Now I want everybody to benefit from it, but I have limited resources. That is, again, I have only 3 stand boxes. So now I will rearrange in such a way so that I can make everyone happy. So I didn't give any box to the boy who is the tallest. Alright. And but in fact, I gave 2 boxes to that fellow who couldn't see the match before. So I gave him 2 boxes. Alright, now this is equity. Comparing this with real world, poor people should be given extra attention and care so that they can also stand in par with the rest of the individuals. This is when equity comes in picture. So basically, equity focuses on ensuring that all citizens of our country have their basic needs for food, housing, clothing, etc. It also looks to reduce the wealth gap and inequality in our society. All right. Now, the next goal is modernization. Now, we all know what is modernization. So, whenever we hear the word modernization, a lot of words comes in our mind. For example, innovation, technology, advancement, machinery, etc. So, modernization basically means integration of technology in the economy. Now, apart from this, we also have to be modern in thoughts. Alright, leaving behind the orthodox ideology. For example, we should treat women in par with the men, leaving behind all the discriminatory practices and pushing towards an equal, fair and modern society. Now the last one is the self-reliance. Alright, now it basically means to avoid the imports of those goods which could be produced in India itself. ऐसे goods को अवॉइड किया जाए जो हम इंडिया में ही खुद मैन्युफैक्चर कर सकते हैं. Narendra Modi started this movement, started this scheme called Make in India, where he said that all the manufacturing units all try to produce more and more goods in India itself rather than importing from other countries. So this reduces our dependence on foreign countries, especially for food. This also gives employment opportunities to the people of our country, since products are being made in India. Now, this policy of self reliance is gaining more importance nowadays due to LSE conflicts, and hence everybody is now talking about vocal about local, that is, to push up the production of locally produced goods. Thank you.